Hello, everyone. This is Chris Itwa here, coming to you with a movie review. This time, I'm going to be giving you a spoiler-free review of the movie Split, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. This is not the typical movie that I planned on reviewing for this channel, but you know what? I paid for the movie yesterday, and I figured, hey, people are talking about it. I might as well talk about it. Like I said, this is going to be spoiler free. There's plenty of people out there that can spoil this movie for you, but I just want to give you a nice spoiler free review of the movie so you can see the movie yourself and experience whatever the hell I experience. Like I said, this movie is directed by M. Night Shyamalan. When it comes to my history with M. Night Shyamalan movies, look, no one's paying me to review movies yet. The only movie that I've seen of his that everyone universally thinks is good is The Sixth Sense. And I managed to see that movie and see it without knowing the twist years after hearing about the movie. Actually, the first time I saw it was last year. Saw it without knowing the twist, and I really enjoyed the movie. I definitely think it deserved its cult status that it achieved, if you will. But unfortunately for me, I've seen way more of his bad movies. The Happening I thought was really bad. After Earth was terrible. I saw that on HBO. I couldn't believe it. That definitely deserved the Razzie. And so did The Last Airbender. I also saw that on HBO a few years ago. And man, I wasn't a huge fan of that show, but that was an awful, awful movie. So, but for this movie, the trailers really intrigued me. I remember the first time I saw the trailer, I'm like, you know what? This looks really, really cool. I saw it for the first time when I saw The Magnificent Seven, and I'm just a sucker for this type of premise for a thriller. So that's why I was really looking forward to this movie. And the movie, its story is what you've seen in the trailer. This dude named Kevin, he's got 23 personalities. He kidnaps a few girls and keeps them locked up in the house, and the movie takes off from there. And the movie, for me, really delivered on the premise of what it was promising. Like I said, this is a thriller like 10 Cloverfield Lane, where it's just that type of boxy, or I don't know what the term is, but I don't know what the genre is. A film where people are trapped in the house. And I think this movie was definitely very thrilling. It's carried, of course, by James McAvoy, who was just brilliant in this movie, man. He's got 23 personalities that he's got to portray. We don't get a clear view of all of them, but we see a good maybe 6 or 7, and he is just fantastic in this movie. All of his plays all of the personalities really well. They're all distinct. Some of them are surprisingly funny, and some of them are definitely scary when he needs to be. So that was really good. And the two other leads in the movie, one was this girl named Anna Taylor-Joy. She's the lead girl in this trio of girls in the movie. She was really good. And also this one doctor played by Betty Buckley is her name. Even though her character, I don't think she handled things the smartest of ways. She definitely gave a good performance. And you got to give some shout out to M. Night Shyamalan. One thing that he does well, even in some of his bad movies, is he works really well with actors, and all the actors are really good in this movie. And his direction and just where he takes the story at times is really, really cool. He directs the movie like a really good thriller, just like 10 Cloverfield Lane last year. The suspense is good. The build-up, for the most part, is pretty good. The claustrophobic feel is pretty good, and he does a good job of making you root for these girls to get out of this situation. I definitely would want to get out if I was put in here, so he did that really well. And just gives you a nice kind of thrilling feel. So definitely delivered on this premise, this movie, is what I'd say. The problems for me, like with a lot of thrillers, came in the third act of this movie. Again, I'll bring up just like 10 Cloverfield Lane. A lot of times thrillers like this just don't have a clear idea of what's the smartest direction to take the story. And that's what you get here. Again, this is spoiler free, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But the movie goes in a certain direction with Kevin where either you'll buy it or you don't. I was still able to have enjoy it for the most part. It's definitely the movie delivered on the thrills in that third act, and definitely was suspenseful. You really were terrified of this guy, but it is the type of thing that you can look at and say, I don't know if this is really the smartest writing going on in this movie, but I guess it was still thrilling, so I enjoyed it. But it wasn't as good as and as smart as the rest of the movie was. I thought the movie was sort of building to something else, and it didn't. Now, the final point I want to make on this movie is this is an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and that dude's known for his twist, and you definitely get one in this movie. Again, this is spoiler free. What I'll say about the twist in this movie is that it relies on previous knowledge of M. Night films to really understand it. I do have an understanding of his films, and when what popped up at the end popped up at the end, I thought, you know what, that's kind of clever. That actually is sort of a unique way to sort of bring this whole thing to get together, what Kevin was going through. I don't think it's a great twist only because it does rely on somewhat previous knowledge of M. Night's work. But in the end, I did think it was a clever twist and not something that completely threw the rest of the movie off. It actually makes whenever I see this movie again, makes it kind of interesting. So I thought it was a good twist and did sort of bring the movie to a nice circular ending, if you will. So overall, I did enjoy this movie. I would give it a 7.5. It's a good thriller. Not as good as 10 Cloverfield Lane last year, but something I definitely enjoyed and something that I thought delivered on its premise, mainly due to M. Night's directing and just a great performance by James McAvoy. I don't think he'll get nominated for an Oscar for this movie just because this is coming out in January, and the Oscars for this, there's no way this film will be remembered that much by February of 2018. But if he got nominated, hey, I'd say that he would deserve it. This was a really good performance by him. So anyway, thanks for watching this review, guys, and I'll see you around with another vid.